You're listening to CBC Online at cbchs.org.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca.
Welcome back to CBC Online. We're with Athletic Director David Hill for the Sports Desk. And I guess, we talked about the beginning of the sports season last time.
Yeah.
Now we're actually in season now. We got stuff going on. Got a bunch of cars coming here tomorrow night. What do you tell people about parking?
Parking is always a challenge, although we've got partnerships and next door with Missouri Baptist, and they've been very helpful, and that's a secondary parking outlet for us. We also go as far as to secure the Walker Medical Building just west of our tennis courts, and that's another alternative parking area, and we use that for both ourselves and our guests. So that's a good source for us. So we feel like we've got a system in place.
And that's free or paid parking?
It's all free.
Free parking.
It's all free parking. Yes.
Okay, so people come to the game, they see the lot full, don't get discouraged.
No, don't get discouraged, because there's a secondary place to park and an alternative place if we need that as well, too, at Walker Medical Building.
And there's town and country police officers, so there's a question. They're certainly been very helpful. So what kind of crowd we expect in a big scene?
I expect a very, very good crowd. I mean, we're coming into this off a great win last week, as you know. I think people are very savvy in the area, and they know what kind of team and where we're ranked in the area, and they're coming out to see good. It's Friday night, and you're coming out to see good football. So I expect a good crowd. Don't know how great it will be, but we're prepared for a large crowd.
Now, certainly in the news, the heat. What are we talking about with the heat situation?
I think the first thing to do is not to get over.
Don't get
overheated about it. I mean, you have to have a plan. Certainly, I always, at every game, we have an ambulance at the game. Now, the ambulance is more so for the on-the-field activities, but certainly we're prepared that if we have to, and we have to cool people down, we've got a visiting team where we can put people inside and have them cool down. So, but keep in mind, we start at 7 o'clock. It will be a little cooler. I know it's going to be toasty, but also keep in mind that come Saturday next week, college football kicks up in the heated day. I mean, down in South, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're going to have 100,000 fans in their stadium. So I think we're going to be fine at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening.
Sure. And in terms of admissions policies this year, what are we looking at for admissions?
It's a $5 gate, so 12 years old and under are free. So it's not overwhelming, and you're going to come and see great football on Friday. So $5 at the gate for adults.
And again, as we move on to the rest of the sports calendar, I mean, boy, it's really heating up. And we got the swim team out in the water, we got the soccer team on the grass, and the cross country team's out there running the hills. So
cross country kicked off yesterday over in Fenton, and it's terrific because there are about 47 kids that are participating in cross country at all levels. So there was an all level meet yesterday in Fenton. They did well. Swimming kicks off on Friday. Fort Zumi South is where they're headed, so they're ready to go, and so we're excited. There are about 30 kids involved in swimming. We hope to get those kids involved in a water polo program into the spring, so as they come out of the fall season, we'll talk about how to get the water polo started, so I'm excited for them as well too. And of course we kick off soccer with our vaunted CBC soccer tournament, so we're excited about that as well too. Next week we start with that September 6th.
And just so maybe some folks don't know, maybe talk a little about who's coaching at those levels. I mean, certainly we know that Terry Mickler's coaching the soccer team, but maybe talk about the swim coach this year, and Bernie Sill been doing it for the cross country team for a few years now.
Bernie, people know Bernie or don't know Bernie. I mean, he's an understated guy, but he's an exceptional runner himself, and he's an elite level runner. And he loves working with the kids and getting them up to a level of expectation. We've got a lot of young freshmen that are out there, which bodes well for the future. And Bernie's kind of an even-tempered guy and a great guy to work with, and he's done a great job pulling kids into the program. Sean Dooley, our head swim coach, is another guy, graduate of CBC, and passionate about, and I tell you, with Sean and his program, we don't have a pool. We have really struggled to find places to work out here in the last couple of weeks because of pool closures and things of that nature. So those guys, getting a workout in the pool and getting that done, I give them great credit because they have to find a place to go to. And when we don't find a place, Sean brings them here to the weight room and they have a dry land workout. So they'll do that a couple of days of the week, and next week they'll be in a regular pool situation and off and running. And I'm excited for them. They do a great job of keeping the kids together and keeping them focused on getting prepared for their meets.
So what are you hearing in terms of the success, the team? You think they should be pretty strong this year?
As far as swimming is concerned?
Swimming,
yeah, I think they feel good about 3 or 4 new guys that are coming to the program, kids that can actually compete and might be ready to compete at state. So they're building. They're excited about what they're building. They've got great numbers, and I like the coaches. They do a solid job. Very, very good job.
And Bernie, again, his first meet was yesterday. Yeah. Bernie Sill, again, cross country. They always have a strong team. They're always bringing it tough.
Bernie feels like he's got some young kids and a mixture of young kids and returning kids that could be a part of the state process. He says to me that this is about as good a team as he saw back in 2004 when they had a lot of success at state. And so there's high anticipation of the group that he has now, too. So it's exciting.
And more importantly, there's opportunities for kids. I mean, yes. I think sometimes people realize that maybe one sport isn't for them, and maybe it opens up an opportunity in another area, cross country being a perfect example.
That's a great point, in that where you think you've reached a dead end in one thing, don't ever stop or settle there. And I tell the kids, don't settle for somebody that tells you maybe this is not the sport for you. There are alternatives. Cross country is an excellent, excellent choice because, if you look at soccer, for example, and that didn't happen, but what do you do in soccer? You run all the time. So why not be a part of the cross country program? Cross country can then transfer over into track in the spring. We're always looking for good middle distance, long distance runners. And our track program is exciting as well, too. So there are things you can do and carry over into other sports and be a part of things in any kind of capacity. So keep your mind open.
So again, big news this week is the home opener of the football game. Yes. We have parking settled. We had admissions. Again, some tailgate activities too for people. It's going to be a pretty exciting time.
Well, tailgate opportunities for two factions. You've got our kids that will be out here, and they've got all kinds of activities planned, SLC, and we cordon off an area right in front of the stadium for them. So the kids are there right after school. They've got things to do up until time for kickoff, and our parents are right around the corner, and they have their tailgate going on. So there's a lot of festivity going on here in preparation for that game tomorrow night. So it should be a fun time.
And finally, I noticed that you guys were tracing down the drug and alcohol policies. You've been meeting with your team. Maybe talk a little bit about what our policy is. It's pretty simple.
Well, it falls into 3 categories, and I really like to state it not so much as a drug and alcohol policy, but I start those meetings talking about all the positives that we're involved with, the positives that we're involved in as a school, as an athletic program, and certainly the positives bring to the program. So with that, there's so many good things going on. Why get involved in some of these alternatives? Why be involved with drugs and alcohol and those types of things, which are against MISA policies? Obviously, we have school policies as well that state if you're involved in something like that, there are consequences. I think it's more important to understand how many positives there are out there and the reasons why you don't want to go down that road. Most important reason is health, safety, and welfare. I really care about their health, safety, and welfare, and I don't want them involved in things that are going to compromise those values. So that's really where I start the premise. And certainly, in the end, it should not be a problem to sign on to that. So I ask for their signature. I ask for the student signature. I ask for the parent signature. So that's what that process is all about, to say that we conform and we consent to one another, and we commit to being safe.
What, did you get any sort of bounce back or any sort of anything from the parents, or they like it, or what? What's
I have
going on?
no. The bounce back I get is I'm glad we're doing it this way. I'm glad that we're talking about the values and what's positive about the institution and what's positive about these kids, and to keep it that way, and to also consent. We call them Cadet Core Values, and we talk about what that means to be a cadet, what it means to operate with great class. Therefore, we have cadet class. Cadet is what you do while you're here. Class is how you demonstrate your behavior outside of CBC. You're always kind of carrying yourself that way. We have a reputation, and it's important to carry yourself in a first-class manner in everything that you do.
Good stuff. Again, with David Hill, Athletic Director, let's just put it right on the line. What's your score for Friday night? Everyone wants to know.
Oh, my goodness.
September 2nd, folks, and we're playing Francis Howell Central.
You promised me you would not do that to me. You're going to put me on the line. Here's the deal. I think that you're going to see a great defensive effort. I think there's some goals that they want to get done defensively. We've got an offense that I think can do a lot of damage, as you saw last week. I'm not going to give a score. I'm going to say CBC is going to come out ahead.
But they'll do it with class and dignity, if nothing else. Yeah.
Always.
Good stuff. Again, David Hill, Athletic Director. We'll check in with you next week.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Ron.
CBC, Men for Tomorrow, Brothers for Life.